Every morning, millions of people pour milk into a glass without asking one simple question. That milk almost always comes from one animal, the humble cow. But cows aren't the only mammals that produce milk. So why did humans build entire civilizations around cows instead of other animals? The answer begins more than 10,000 years ago with humanity's first farmers. Ancient people first valued cattle for meat, strength, and survival, not for drinking milk. Then someone noticed something extraordinary after calves had finished feeding. One simple observation slowly changed the relationship between humans and cattle forever. Instead of slaughtering one animal, families discovered they could receive food every day. But if milk was so valuable, why did humans choose cows over every other animal? Goats, sheep, buffaloes, and camels all produce milk, but none became the global favorite. The first reason was surprisingly simple. Cows produced plenty of milk every single day. For ancient families, a dependable daily supply mattered far more than occasional abundance. One healthy cow could quietly feed an entire household. Goats needed less food, but cows rewarded farmers with much larger milk supplies. More milk meant more butter, cheese, yogurt, and food that lasted much longer. Those dairy foods helped families survive seasons when fresh food became scarce. Milk gradually became one of humanity's first renewable food sources. One discovery transformed cattle from food animals into lifelong partners. But another incredible human adaptation made drinking milk even more extraordinary. Here's the surprising part. Not every human can naturally digest fresh milk. Babies produce an enzyme called lactase that helps them digest their mother's milk. For most mammals, that enzyme naturally decreases after they grow up. Humans became unusual because some adults continued producing lactase throughout life. Over thousands of years, this genetic change spread through many dairy farming communities. Families who could digest milk gained another dependable source of nutrition. Milk supplied water, protein, fat, and minerals in one convenient food. Communities without dairy farming often relied on completely different food traditions. Humans and cows slowly changed each other's history through thousands of shared years, but cows offered something even more valuable than milk alone. A single cow could support a family in more ways than almost any other animal. A deer provided one meal, but a healthy cow provided food for many years. Keeping the cow alive created an endless cycle of renewable food. Milk was only the beginning of everything cattle could offer humanity. Strong cattle also helped farmers plow fields long before tractors ever existed. One animal produced food, while another also helped grow tomorrow's harvest. Villages with cattle gradually became stronger, larger, and more productive over generations. Soon, almost every farming community wanted cattle close to home. Reliable animals create reliable civilizations, and cattle became the perfect example. But if cows were so successful, why didn't goats become the world's favorite milk animal? Goats produce excellent milk, but cows offered one enormous practical advantage. A single healthy cow could provide enough milk for an entire household every day. Larger milk supplies also meant larger stores of butter, cheese, and yogurt. Goats excelled in mountains, but cows thrived across vast farming landscapes. For many farming communities, bigger animals meant bigger daily rewards. As farming spread, cows traveled with people into new lands and new civilizations. Generation after generation, cattle became part of everyday human life. More cattle created more milk, which supported more families and larger communities. The relationship between humans and cows became one of history's greatest partnerships. But one final surprise explains why milk became so important around the world. Today, billions of people drink cow's milk, but that wasn't always normal. What began in a few farming villages slowly spread across continents over thousands of years. Different regions raised different animals depending on their land and climate. Where wide grasslands existed, cows became the perfect partners for growing communities. Abundant grass could become nutritious milk without competing directly with human food. Cows transformed plants people couldn't eat into food people could enjoy every day. Very few animals could perform that incredible transformation as efficiently as cattle. Humans couldn't survive on grass, but cows could turn it into valuable nutrition. That simple partnership quietly helped feed civilizations for thousands of years. But one final reason explains why milk still fills supermarket shelves today. Walk into almost any supermarket, and cow's milk is impossible to miss. Goat, sheep, and camel milk still exist, but they remain much less common. Thousands of years of farming slowly built today's global dairy industry. Fresh milk now travels from farms to stores in just a matter of days. What once required hand milking is now supported by modern technology. Even today, the journey still begins with one familiar animal, the cow. Modern technology changed the process, but not the partnership between humans and cows. Every glass of milk carries thousands of years of shared human history. Most people never think about that remarkable journey while pouring breakfast. So, was choosing cows one of humanity's smartest decisions? Looking back, choosing cows wasn't just about milk. It was about survival. Wild animals demanded constant hunting, but cows stayed close and produced food every day. One decision created a chain reaction that shaped entire civilizations. From the first villages to modern cities, cows quietly remained by humanity's side. Generation after generation, children grew up seeing cows as part of everyday life. Many animals helped humans, but few matched the cow's long list of benefits. Today, one simple glass of milk represents thousands of years of human history. The partnership between humans and cows became one of history's greatest success stories. Every breakfast quietly continues a tradition that began thousands of years ago. And that brings us to one final question about humanity's oldest dairy partner. So why didn't humans eventually replace cows with another milk-producing animal? Because replacing a successful system is much harder than creating one. Thousands of years of breeding gradually made dairy cows even better milk producers. Each generation built upon the knowledge of the previous one. Entire communities passed dairy knowledge from parents to children for centuries. Over time, cows became woven into economies, traditions, and everyday life. Changing animals would have meant rebuilding thousands of years of experience. Sometimes the best solution isn't perfect. It's simply the one that works best. That's why billions of people still pour cow's milk without thinking about its incredible journey. And in the end, the answer was never just about milk. The real story of cow's milk is actually the story of human civilization itself. From wild cattle to modern dairy farms, one partnership lasted thousands of years. Grass became milk. Milk became healthier families. Families built civilizations. Many animals could give milk, but cows offered the balance humans needed most. That choice wasn't planned. It slowly evolved through countless generations of experience. Sometimes history's biggest changes begin with the simplest everyday decisions. Tomorrow morning, millions of people will pour milk without realizing this incredible history. One ordinary glass quietly connects your breakfast table to humanity's distant past. The next time you drink milk, remember, you are continuing a tradition thousands of years old. Because sometimes the simplest things in our lives have the most extraordinary stories.